Well, as you know, there's a big project in northern Michigan, a tunnel project being funded and built by Enbridge to create this tunnel under the Straits of Mackinac, an engineering marvel, to say the least. But those in the, I don't know, on the left of center, the Green New Deal type folks have been fighting this every step of the way, as have some major players in politics in Michigan. But it continues to advance because it's a good project. It's the right thing to do. Enbridge paying $500 million, employing Michigan people to build this. A lot going on. Ryan Duffy's part of the Enbridge Communications Team. He joins me. Ryan, nice to have you back on the program.
Good morning, Steve. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you on this week of Thanksgiving. A lot going on. I've seen some stories pop up, new filings at the Supreme Court and other things. Where are we on all the legal battles? Because the legal battles just seem to go on forever and ever, even though you win. But then some other thing will get filed. Somebody else will try to put a roadblock in front of you. Where are we?
Yeah, those do seem to go on and on. I mean, the latest here really is that, there were some filings on our approval from the Michigan Public Service Commission, the MPSC, the permit approval. They gave us for the tunnel project, approving that in 2023. And then the Michigan Court of Appeals affirmed that was the right decision last year. But there are some groups opposed to the project, and they appealed that permit decision up to the Michigan Supreme Court to take a look at it. And now those groups are filing some briefs in the case. So that continues to go on. I mean, the bottom line is, from our perspective, really, is that these issues have been well reviewed, well studied. The MPSC process was very thorough already. It took more than 3 years carefully reviewing the project. And then the Michigan Court of Appeals already said that it all checks out and follows the law. So I think this really just goes back to the fact that, these delays now, these various filings and roadblocks, it really maintains the status quo. And the existing pipelines continue to operate there in the Straits just as they always have on the lake bed. And they are safe, but, all of these delays just maintain that status quo, where the tunnel project is the solution for the future if the goal is protecting the Straits. I mean, moving Line 5 into that tunnel deep under the lake bed of the Straits makes sure what always has been a safe pipeline is even safer, and makes sure people have that access to the energy they need, and it supports jobs and the economy.
One of the other things, of course, now the Supreme Court, you never know how long those things take. I mean, it can sit there for a while. You know that. As my attorneys always tell me, these things are a process, and in this case, it's a very long process for you guys. So that's going to be a time-consuming, possibly. What about the latest timeline from the Army Corps and getting approval from the Army Corps of Engineers, which we were told would come in 2026? Where are we?
Yeah, so that's the other piece. That's another permit approval. And for us, we're really looking forward to when the Army Corps can wrap up its work and give us that final environmental impact statement, make a decision on the permit for the tunnel. We did get a little bit of an update from the Corps, and they're now saying spring for a decision there. So in that time frame, sometime in the spring. And we continue to respond to information requests we get from the Army Corps as they prepare that final environmental impact statement. When the draft impact statement came out a few months ago, it was released for public review, public comment. That reflected more than 5 years of really detailed study, a lot of stakeholder input from all different groups. And so when we do see that final completion, that's going to be a major milestone in this federal permitting process that started way back in 2020. And we're working with the Corps to advance things as quickly as possible. But that Corps approval, as you know, is really one of the final key pieces before we can get on toward construction.
It is. And not to be jaded, I'm sure these conversations happen in your office. Sure. And let's say the Army Corps does come in spring of 26 and says, yes, green light, you can go ahead and do it. You're going to get hit with more lawsuits and more, chaos. I mean, it's so predictable, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot, I'm sure, that keeps our attorneys up at night, and a lot to think about what could happen and is likely. But again, if your goal really is better protection at the Straits, then the tunnel really is the solution.
Yeah. Let's switch gears a little bit. It is Thanksgiving week, as I mentioned. And as we've talked about on this program, look, the folks at Enbridge, like you said, they want to protect the Straits just like everybody else, because a lot of your folks work and live right here in Michigan, raise their families, enjoy the Great Lakes, all those great things. And we want to protect the Great Lakes, obviously. And now on Thanksgiving week, you're getting involved with providing meals. You're part of the community here. Tell us about this.
Yeah, we are, absolutely. We have 6 pipelines in the state. We have more than 100 people who work here and live in the communities where we operate. And that's right. On Friday, we were really proud to partner up with an organization that works here in Michigan. It's called Vet Life. It's an organization supporting veterans. They do really important work all year, but especially now around the holiday season. They were able to distribute 500 Thanksgiving turkey baskets to Michigan veterans at the event Friday called the Harvest for Heroes. And it's really a way to give thanks to our veterans and their families, make sure they have what they need at Thanksgiving time. Vet Life is a great organization, of course. We also partner with them for their Vet Fest event and the work they do to connect veterans to their benefits, including those related to mental health. So a great organization. Food insecurity, it's an issue across the state, and it's an issue with veterans too. So it's really great to remember veterans this week. We encourage people to remember veterans this week, and Vet Life is really doing great work with that.
And we appreciate that. I tip my hat to Enbridge. Despite all the static and chaos aimed at you, you guys still do the right thing, and I appreciate that. Ryan, I really appreciate you being here. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk more in the future as things progress.
Okay, great. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much. Yeah, see, they're part of the community. And nobody wants the Great Lakes to be followed. That's why the tunnel project is such a good idea. A long-term project to protect the lakes and make sure that energy is still available for the people that need it here in the state. I'm a proponent. I'll take a break and be right back. This is The Steve Gruber Show.